Hello and welcome to the Citadelle Des Morts guide. In this I'm going to show you how to complete the Easter egg solo with every step that you need to take. It's all very completable solo. In terms of loadout, use whatever you want. I would strongly suggest an assault rifle like the AS Val. I didn't find the GS45s all that good against the boss because he's got lots of armor and they don't do very well trying to break through armor. So having an AS Val upgraded would be a really good idea. And in terms of augments, the only one I think that's really important is the Deadshot Daiquiri augment that lets you do extra damage against armor. Purely so then you do extra damage against the boss. I'm using a load of gobblegums in this run, and spoilers, it ends up going quite badly towards the end. So I would say this is quite a hard Easter egg to do solo, harder than the other two, at least it has been for me. So I'd strongly suggest using gobblegums. Obviously you can do it without, I'm sure some of you are much better at zombies than me, but I ended up using things like Perkaholic, like using the hidden power to get my weapon up to legendary really quickly, a gobblegum to make the wall buy give me GS45s that were already pack-a-punched. I ended up doing quite a lot of stuff like that, so it's up to you whether you're going to use gobblegums or not. I did, and I still found it difficult, so make of that what you will. If you do enjoy this guide and find it useful, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, but let's get started. So at the beginning, obviously you just want to make sure that you get a little bit of essence so you can start opening things up. We're going to open up the left-hand side first, the left-hand route up to the castle. This is just because there's a couple of items that you need later that you can grab on the way. So if you open up that gate, you can run up to this barn, and then inside the barn, on the wall just above this door, there's a horseshoe. Shoot it and pick it up. You're going to need that later. Now, just outside this barn, there's also a lightning rod that you're going to need. We're going to pick up 3 of these lightning rods. So the first one is actually just back at the barn near the Deadshot Daiquiri machine. So I came back and decided to get this now. It's just kind of to the left of the Deadshot Daiquiri machine, near these crates. You'll see it standing on the ground just there. I nearly get killed by zombies, but I do pick it up. You can see it in the top right. One of the lightning rods that have been picked up. Like I said, you're going to need 3 of these eventually. Don't worry too much about rounds at this point because you're going to have to get to round 10 before you can really start getting progressed on the Easter egg, before you can start building the swords. So just play as you normally would. Make sure you get your essence, open everything up. So make your way up to the keep, the kind of main castle area, by opening this door up. And then this is kind of the ramparts area. This is where you can climb up onto the walls. And you can't buy your way into the keep. Annoyingly, the door isn't one that you can buy. Instead, you need to go around the edge. So you can buy this door just to go on the edge. And don't forget to pick up your extra 100 essence from the perk machines as you go. And then at the top in the middle, you're going to find a big cannon. You're going to have to crank that to turn it round. If you did the Liberty Falls Easter egg, you'll remember this is a bit like the water valve. Although it doesn't take quite as long. I had to make sure that I killed all of these, and having that Pack-a-Punch GS45 did really help. Anyway, cranking this takes a little while. Like I said, nowhere near as long as the water valve. You can see how fast the progress is going up there. And then once it's facing the right way, you can just go around the back of it and interact with it. That'll fire the cannon, and now the front of the keep is open. The front door of the keep is open, and the cannon turns back around. We are actually going to be using that cannon again later. So, there's a locked door there that you can buy. I decided to save my essence, but you are going to have to buy that later. You don't actually need to buy the one lower down, but you do need to buy the top one. So now you should be able to go into the keep. Again, you've got like Jug there and the first tier of armor if you want that, and a crafting bench. Now you're basically going to have to work your way down into the oubliette room, which I've been informed by people in the comments is a French word for a room where they would forget about people, just like a bit of a dungeon where they would chain people up. So that's where you're going to be heading. The room we're just passing through here, the dining hall, that's kind of the night room. I might call it that as we go through. I mean the dining hall. This is kind of the central room where quite a lot happens. Now, like I said, you need to get down to the oubliette room. That's kind of just following the guide at the moment. But do make sure you get as much essence as possible. So as many headshots as possible. Avoid nukes. You want to be able to open up all of these doors on your way. But you don't want to end up wasting money as you go. There's a quick revive down here. So again, grab a little bit of loose change from underneath, and then you've got another door that you need to open. Now in this room you might actually be able to do something that I did much later on. If you're a little bit later on rounds when you get into here, if there's an armored zombie in here, they have a chance of dropping another one of those lightning rods, and it seems like they definitely do spawn in this room. So if you've started getting armored zombies, at any point during this guide, just come down here to where quick revive is and kill some armored zombies there, and you've got a decent chance of getting the next lightning rod part. It's something that holds me up a little bit later and means I end up on a higher round than I would otherwise need to be. Now, I actually sneakily grabbed a Perkaholic from the Gobblegun machine here. That was just because I was using these GS45s, which again, I do not recommend, partly because there's no PhD flopper on this map, so you'd have to wait until the Wonder Fizz spawns upstairs in the tavern at round 25 before you could use them. So that's not ideal. I decided to use a Perkaholic instead just so I could keep on going with this run. Anyway, once you've got enough money, you can open up the next door, and now you're getting into the proper part of the dungeon. There's 3 locks on this box you need to shoot off, but be aware as soon as you do, a big monster will spawn, one of the new special enemies, because I've got those crazy overpowered GS45s. That's what they were really good for in this run, was wiping out those super quickly. I could take it out straight away, but yeah, do be a little bit aware that that's going to happen. Once you've killed that, it will drop a big old crystal, which you need to pick up. I'm just clearing out the zombies here to give myself a little bit of space. That little cloud that you can see there, that's an augment for the new Vulturade perk that basically levels up my field upgrade. Once you pick up the crystal, you put it into that portal, and that's going to spawn the Pack-a-Punch, and that ends the guiding that the game does for you. So from now on, you won't get any objective markers. Obviously, now you've got Pack-a-Punch. If you need to Pack-a-Punch something, you can do. Now, the next step of this, and you do need to do this, it's not just a story step, is go back through into the oubliette room and open up this little hatch, and now you get to talk to Kraft. So he's going to come over and chat to you for a little bit. He's a little bit freaky. He's very, very old, and I mean, he should be old because he was around in World War II. But yeah, he's very, very old, and he just comes and tells you that you need to obtain the Sentinel artifact. That's what you're here for. And to do that, you're going to need to get an amulet that is hidden in the castle. So basically, most of the quest that you're going through in this game is to try and get that amulet. Once you pick up the amulet, that's going to be the end of the Easter egg. Now, Kraft has a little bit of a weird moment here. Don't mind him. He's just talking in Latin. He says something about opening your eyes to see the truth, something like that. And then he says, you know, he gave you the means to find the amulet. Now hurry, the Syndicate cannot be allowed to obtain the Sentinel artifact. It must never fall into his hands. He seems to have a problem with somebody. I wonder who that could be. So after you've had a nice chat with Kraft, he'll tell you about this amulet you're looking for. Go back to the night room and this wall will disappear. It's an illusion. It leads to this secret lab. So now you can go into this lab, and somewhere around this lab, you're going to find the fossil of something or the skull of something. Now, it could be anywhere on any of these shelves, so I'm just kind of looking around. It might look different to you. There's lots of different places it can spawn. For me, it just looked like a weird rock. I could see there was a jawbone there, but I couldn't interact with it. Sometimes it can be a jawbone, but I think they always have kind of a plinth that they're standing on. So just look around this room until you find some weird object that you can pick up. For me, I actually end up coming back to do that a little bit later. There's a few different things you can do in these rooms. This is the sitting room now. You're going to look for a few pages in a little bit. Sometimes we just call that stamina because where it is. The other thing you want to do is put dead wire on your gun. You're going to need dead wire to go pick up another one of those lightning rods. And then you can come back in here and do this puzzle. So if you shoot that mirror up there, you're shooting the mirror, not the crystal, the mirror behind it. What your job is here is to try and bounce the light from one to the other, just like you've done in a million games before. If you come up here, up to the top, you need to find kind of the right angle to shoot it to move it. It's a little bit awkward. I found going to the opposite side from where I am now was the best place to do it. But basically, you're just trying to shoot this through. You can use any gun for it. I've heard someone I was playing with was doing it with an explosive thing. That was fine. But I was just doing it with the valve. So now that sort of beam has gone solid. Now you need to shoot the next mirror. So you just kind of try and work out how to make it go over there. To be honest, this was a little bit trial and error for me. I didn't really know what I was doing. I just sort of found different angles to shoot it from. And then sometimes it would work. Sometimes it would go the right way. Sometimes it would go the wrong way. Like there, that was definitely going the wrong way. So I shot it again the other way because now you're trying to make it go through the doorway back to that lab that you were just in a second ago. So I ended up coming up here to shoot it a little bit. That was still going the wrong way. I figured, oh, I actually need to be on the other side to shoot it. But yeah, it's just like a little bit awkward. Just mess around with it until you get it working. There you go. And then that one pinged it. If you stand where I stand when it goes successfully, that should work. So now this one needs to bounce onto the wall just to the left of where I am there. I got that one straight away. And then the last one was a little bit more awkward. I wasn't really sure where this should bounce to. It's actually trying to bounce onto an object just kind of on the table in the corner of the room. That corner that's all lit up really brightly. That's where you're going to be trying to bounce it. So I ended up shooting it over here. It moved around a little bit. Still wasn't working, annoyingly. But if I stood out in this little room and shot through it, that worked. And then it goes to the Paladin's Brooch on this table, which you can then pick up after it's kind of done a weird glowy thing. So this is the first of these kind of weird ritual items that you need. You're going to need 4 of these. You've already picked up the horseshoe, but you're going to actually need to upgrade that later. And then there's 2 more that we'll pick up. At this point, I'm still super far ahead. Like, this is still level 6. So I was just trying to work out what else we could actually do really, really early. So I went back to trying to find this stupid skeleton thing. As I said, it could be on any of these sides at all. So you just need to kind of look around until you find it. I'm sure there'll probably be a list of spawns somewhere, but I found it on this table. Can you see it just there to the left, just next to Skull? I just grabbed it then, and you can see in the top right, it looked like a weird rock on a plinth. That was it. That one can be different for every person. So some people will get a weird rock on a plinth. Some people will get some sort of skull or jawbone. There's lots of different things. We're going to use that for the Raven Sword Easter egg later. It's quite a complicated one. So just try to remember what it looked like when you picked it up. That's a bit of a tall order. It's probably one of the more difficult mentally taxing part of this Easter egg, to be honest, working out what you just picked up. So now you go into this room and you're looking for 4 of these bits of paper. They've got big glowing symbols on them. There's 4 of them dotted around either in the room or sometimes they're outside, so it could be on the crates. It is randomized, so I was doing this at the same time as Dalek, and he was having a terrible time trying to find them because they're not necessarily in the same place for everyone. I was finding them, some of them dotted around outside here on the walls, and then there's actually one on the TV that I just walked past. There's one sort of sitting in front of there. But you should be able to find 4 pieces of paper in here with these bright red glowing symbols on them. So there's the last one just in front of the TV. These you're going to use later to put them into a book, but as long as you've got that done, as long as you've picked that up, that's all fine. You're kind of done with that for now. Now I headed back into the night room, and because we'd picked up that Paladin's Brooch in there, there's actually this yellow circle. It'll take a little while to spawn, but that will spawn eventually. Interact with that and it will drop the Paladin Brooch, basically. It'll float there, and then this is just a soul box. A bunch of zombies will spawn quite quickly. Kill them as quickly as you can and you'll see their souls going towards the item. After a little bit of time, this doesn't take too long, it will have charged up and it will kind of disappear and be replaced with a chest. This is how you're going to get these weird little tacticals. There's one for each of the items you're picking up. You won't be able to open the chest at first, but don't worry, you'll be able to open it later. That one you'll open it up with the light sword. But basically, they're giving you these little tacticals that you're going to need later. So you do need to do that. And those yellow circles, as you pick up each of the items, basically they'll start spawning around the map. There's 4 of them in total. Now, you still can't do anything with the swords until it's round 10. So I decided to go back out. Remembering I've got dead wire on my gun, you need to make sure you have dead wire on your weapon. Then you can go through this gate to go grab another one of the lightning rods. So just open up that gate and it's on top of that aerial just there, the lightning rod you need. If you follow the aerial down, there's an electric box. It's quite hard to see there, but if you just shoot it with a gun with dead wire on, that'll knock the lightning rod down, and that's the second one you need. So you've grabbed that. Obviously that's going to come in handy later when you're doing the lightning sword. You can put these down now. You can just carry them around, to be honest. It doesn't really matter. I decided to put them down. So if you want to put them down, go up on the ramparts up here to the left, and there's this weird little device that looks like a big sort of urn. You can put 2 of them in there. We need a third one, and in this game it actually took me a long while to find that third one. But it's the one that I said from an armored zombie down by quick revive. So now I just progressed the rounds on to round 10. So I was just moving forwards until it got to round 10, because that's when you'll be able to start getting stamps. So basically every round there's going to be one zombie that has a helmet on, and if you shoot them in the head it'll say immune. That actually makes it a bit easier to spot them, because you'll be like shooting into a crowd of zombies and one of them will start getting immune. That means it's one of these special zombies. When you kill one of them, it will drop a stamp, and that's what you need to pick up the swords. So I just did this in this room because this is where you use the stamp, so I thought, why not? I don't think it really matters where you're standing, to be honest, but I'd maybe do it in this room just in case there's something we don't know and they only spawn in here. So I ended up with a vermin round on this round, but thankfully it didn't matter. There's the zombie. See, if I shoot him in the head, it says immune. But when I kill him, there's a stamp. Now I can go up to one of the 4 knights and pick up their sword, basically. The one I just went to was the dragon one, so the fire one. I think this is the easiest sword to do, so I just pick that up. It replaces your melee weapon. It's not that great when it's just a normal melee weapon, when it's just a normal bastard sword. It's fine on these early rounds, like round 10, but you're going to upgrade it and make it much, much better. So once you've got down to not many zombies at all, try to keep it as low as you can. Take the sword back round to the kind of entrance hall of the keep. I actually decided that this would be a good time to pick up armor. As you're going, don't forget to get armor, because there are actually quite a few bits in this where lots of enemies will spawn, and it feels like often it's very quiet for a long while because you're doing Easter egg steps with not many zombies about, and then suddenly there'll be a big horde of them. This next step is one of them where you do start taking an insane amount of damage, so having some armor if you can afford it is probably a good thing. You don't need 3 plates, but you need some. So once you've got sorted, get your sword out, so just hold melee and then that'll equip the sword that you've picked up. This is the fire sword. Hopefully you've picked up that one from the dragon. Then you can put it in this dragon plinth, so this is just in kind of the entrance of the keep. And then basically you're going to have to go find 3 burning cauldrons. 2 of them are just near spawn, and then I'll show you where the 3rd one is in a bit. But basically with these cauldrons, you have now lost your sword. You've put the sword in there, it's going to be upgraded. If you can't interact with that, that means you picked up a different sword, and that's fine. Over the next 4 rounds, you'll just get 3 more of those zombies, which drop the stamps, and you can pick up all of the other swords. When you look at the knights, you'll see kind of on their chest, they've got the different animals. Just make sure that you pick up the dragon sword to do this step. Once you can put a sword inside that dragon, then you know that's definitely the dragon sword and you're sorted. So you'll come and find these burning cauldrons. If you go up and press interact on them, it will basically set you on fire and you will go incredibly fast, but your health will start ticking down very, very quickly. If you want to get a bit of health back, just punch one of the zombies. Just press attack and you'll punch a zombie. That will give you your health back and it will spawn lots of zombies, so don't worry if you've only kept one. Now I didn't know what to do when I got to the dragon here. I was very, very annoyed. But it turns out you don't attack that dragon, instead you interact with the dragon. So thankfully I can show you the route again and show you what you need to do. So if it goes wrong, it doesn't matter. You don't need to flip around or anything. You just go back and do it again. Just make sure your health doesn't get too low. That's the only thing. This is one of the furthest ones. There's one that's a little bit further. So you want to make sure that you're punching zombies on the way up, just to make sure you don't run out of health. But you go so fast, this, only takes a few seconds. You should probably be fine. Remember, I've got a bit more health than a lot of you will because I've got Jug as well. Then once you get up to dragon, interact with it, you'll see the dragon will kind of breathe a bit of smoke out, and you'll know that that means that you've definitely done it. So now, after you've done that one, you can go down and go into spawn. So right back to where you started. That's where we're going to get the next cauldron for this. So what you're doing now is basically upgrading one of the swords. You need to upgrade all 4 swords to do the Easter egg, and then you can choose which one you want to use. But here, I just go and interact with another cauldron. So this is the one at spawn. I just ran back exactly the same way. Obviously, this is a little bit further, but you've still got zombies spawning the whole route. So just make sure you keep on running between them, punching them, just to keep your health completely topped up. Because it does drop down, I would say, a little bit quicker than you think. So then do the same thing, go up to the dragon, interact with it, it will breathe a little bit of smoke, and then you can go and get the next one. The next one is actually up on the rampart, so it's super close. So if you just go down to kind of the left, if you come out of the keep, and then go up the ramparts through here, past Melee Macchiato, you're going to need that later. You are going to have to buy Melee Macchiato at some point. And then the braziers here, you can literally turn around, jump off, just scoot down, go straight up the stairs. I don't think I even bothered punching a zombie in this one. And then interact with it. Then the dragon will breathe fire on the sword, forging the sword into its final form, the final one. So this is Caliburn. This is the fire sword, and that's now complete. So now I'm still on round 10. I haven't progressed around by doing this. To get the next sword, to be able to upgrade the next sword, you need to get another stamp. So you actually need to go to round 11 to pick up another stamp. when you're using the swords, you can just sort of swipe with right trigger. You can do a kind of push with left trigger if you want, although, to be honest, I never used that. Maybe I should, I don't know. And then once the sword is charged up, and I found it kind of hard to tell when it's charged up, I think it glows a little bit more. You can actually do an attack by pressing both aim and attack at the same time, and that will do something different for each sword. So with the fire sword, that fires a fireball, and it does do quite a lot of damage. It will kill the zombies pretty quickly. It's just a little bit slow. I didn't find it all that useful. I haven't really worked out which would be the best sword to use for the boss, because the boss is a little bit of a pain to hit with the sword, but there are a lot of zombies, especially if you're doing this in multiplayer. It's also worth saying, while you're doing this, if you're playing in multiplayer, then other people can do their own swords. Like, ideally, you'd have 4 people and they'd all do their own swords. That's kind of how that would work. But now I'm on round 11. I just need to wait for another zombie with the helmet on top to get another stamp so I can grab another sword. And for the next one, we're going to be grabbing the light sword. So for me, I had to go basically to the end of the round to find the one that had the helmet on. So it took quite a while for him to spawn, but there he is, just ambling about, so you can chop him up and then get the next stamp. And then we're going to interact with this one on the left that has the little red crystal over it. That's going to give you the light sword. You can put a sword back if you want, just by interacting with a statue, or you can just pick up the other one and it will drop it on the floor. So now you've got a light sword. 4 parasites that are glowing will spawn, and you do not want to kill them yet. You're going to need to use each one at a time, and you get 4 every round. So if you mess up, you have to go to the next round. Now what you want to do is go down to the left here. I kill 1 parasite here, and you see when I kill it, my sword starts glowing gold. You're now going to go all the way to left here to this little underpass and then melee this door. That'll make a rune spawn on the door. Then go kill another parasite, hit the door, melee it. That'll make another rune on it. Do the same thing again. So that'll get you another rune on the door, and then hit the last parasite, and then you can hit the door once more, and that's all 4. If you mess that up, then you just have to go to the next round to get more parasites. Interact with the door, you'll knock on it, and then it'll take you to this little undercroft. Try and do this quickly and zombies won't spawn. So interact with the pedestal. There'll be a symbol on the pedestal. You need to find that symbol and shoot it. Then there'll be another symbol on the pedestal. Find that symbol and shoot it. Then another symbol. Find that and shoot it. And then you just shoot the last symbol, because there's only 4. You can see I did that just as the first zombie spawned. If you take a little bit too long, then more and more zombies will spawn. You can pick up the sword after you're done, and that's the upgraded light sword. If you mess that up, so you shoot the symbols in the wrong order, you take too long, it will kick you out, and then next round you can just interact with the door again. You don't need to kill the parasites again, which is really handy. So now we've got 2 swords upgraded out of the 4. We're kind of halfway done, but those are probably the 2 easier swords to get done. Now what I'm doing here is crafting 3 Molotovs, and we're doing this just to get another item that we're going to use later, like when we got the horseshoe and stuff. So craft some Molotovs. You need some fire for this, and then you're going to run up to the ramparts, and you see those bits of wood. Throw a Molotov at that bit of wood, and it will cause a bunch of zombies to spawn from these little orbs. That's fine, just kill all of those zombies. Now you're going to be doing this 3 times, and the second sort of set of them is from this pyre right in the middle above the entrance. I messed this up twice. So the first one I threw it straight at it, that was way too low. Next one I threw it way too high, and that was all of my Molotovs. Now thankfully I had loads of salvage, partly because I've got Vulture Aid, and Vulture Aid gives you so much extra salvage in this game. But here I just went, crafted another couple, only needed 2 more now to get the last 2. I was pretty sure I knew how to get that one, and the third one is pretty easy. So now just go back up to the ramparts. I'm sure you probably did this on your first throw. Let me know in the comments. You probably did this easily. So now you can throw it up there. So if you just aim kind of at that circle on the top, that should be about right. Then again, you'll get these sort of, what is it, 6, 7 zombies spawn. You can hack some of them up. I'm not sure if you actually need to kill them all straight away. It doesn't seem to really matter. I only killed a couple of them then. Then you have to destroy this bit of wall. And that's because there's another bit of wood just on the outside part of it. I actually didn't realize that at that point, so I hadn't destroyed it. I was like, oh no, I can't see it. But I decided to run past. So you're going to be doing another little fight with one of those monsters in a second, so be prepared for that. But if you blow up that wall, then you can see the next pile of wood is just there on the cliff. It's not very far away at all, so this one's easier to throw it. I used Ether Shroud just so I wasn't bothered by the zombies, but throw your Molotov just a little bit above it, that set it on fire, and now a bunch more zombies will spawn. Now, your job now is to kill all of the zombies that spawned. Obviously, you might end up accidentally putting the round on, but that doesn't matter too much because you need to get another stamp anyway. But kill all of the zombies that spawned, and then this will spawn. Kill that. I just used my pistols again. Absolutely destroyed it. And then when that actually explodes, remember those things do explode, then that will drop the Ankh, and that's one of those little objects you need to pick up, ready for those yellow pools to spawn on the floor. Now we're quickly going to upgrade the horseshoe. So this is the horseshoe step. You just need to climb into the cannon. It costs 500. It doesn't need you to do anything when you're in the air or anything like that. It all happens quite quick. Although there is intel there that I've still not managed to pick up. But anyway, you just climb into that cannon and get fired. And then somewhere on the map, there's going to be a storm cloud. For me, both times I've done it, it's just been outside the barn. One person I was playing with, Geeky, for him, he said it was outside Speed Coda, but you should be able to see this lightning. See, there's a storm cloud up there. Just underneath that, you'll now get Pegasus's horseshoe. This is the upgraded version of the horseshoe that you needed. So you've got the Ankh, you've got the horseshoe, you already did the brooch earlier on. The last one that you're going to need is a raven's foot or a crow's foot, but we'll get that one a little bit later. So when I was heading back up to the keep, I noticed on the floor just out here, the little yellow thing spawned. This is the one for fire. So we just got this Ankh. Remember, that's the one that we got from throwing the Molotovs at the wooden bunches. Exact same sort of thing. Interact with the yellow pool. You'll put the Ankh down, and then it's just a soul box. You just kill a bunch of the zombies that spawn. More and more zombies will spawn, so don't worry about it being near the end of the round. Although I did actually end up accidentally finishing the round here. Then eventually this will fill up the Ankh. I say eventually, it really doesn't take too long. These soul boxes are quite easy, especially compared to one that you're going to do a little bit later that is more horrific. So, and again, remember, different people can do this. You don't need to do this as a team or anything. If there's lots of people, you can just do it by yourself. So I couldn't open up that chest with that sword, and that's because I was using the light sword that I'd been using, and that is the fire box, and you can only open up each box with the right sword. So you'll see me later just run around and open all of those up. You need to make sure you kind of remember which chest is which, but that's the fire one outside the front. The one in here is the light one. So you can see here, I just go up, swipe it, and that opens up the light box. So now I can put this sword back if I want to. I'm kind of done with this one. Now I'm just waiting to find another stamp so I can get my third sword. And for this one, we're going to go for the lightning one. So you can see here, yet again, it's right near the end of a round that I got the zombie that had the stamp. That was actually the last zombie, which kind of spoiled that. But I decided to go and get the lightning one, which is this one, which has the kind of deer head on it. So I picked up that sword, and now we're going to be trying to do this. Now, to do this, you actually need the third lightning rod, which I didn't have at this point because I didn't realize you had to go down to quick revive and then kill zombies there to unlock it. While I was waiting to find that, I did go down into the Undercroft, just opening more doors. And when you get down to the Undercroft, there's a little bit of extra stuff that you can do here if you want to. So this just takes you back round to the Pack-a-Punch room. I'd kind of opened up the loop. In the Undercroft, there's a wall over here that's kind of glowing a little bit blue behind it. You can just see there. To open that up, you need Melee Macchiato. So I've got that because I've got Perkaholic. Obviously, you can just go buy it if you want to. It's up on the ramparts. Just kind of, if you go out the keep, it's on the left. But once you've got Melee Macchiato, run up to that and punch it. It will break down and show you a whole bunch of symbols. And I strongly suggest you start thinking of some silly little names for these symbols because you're going to need them later. But anyway, at this point, I went back to the quick revive room. This is when I worked out that this is what I was meant to be doing. You can't get the lightning rod, it seems, from killing those vermin or anything. But here I had an armored zombie. First armored zombie I killed down here, and he dropped the last piece of the lightning rod. So this is the third lightning rod that we found. Remember that we picked one up next to Deadshot Daiquiri, and we got another one off that aerial by shooting that box with dead wire. This is the third one. So once you've got all three, you can head on out of the keep again. So just go straight out the front door, and then you're going to be going back up to that lightning rod. Now this next step, I didn't find too bad, but I know some people had an absolutely terrible time with this. So interact with this, it'll put the last lightning rod in, and this will create a lightning storm. Now, I didn't use my sword quickly enough then. For some reason, I didn't think about it. But you do need to have your sword equipped for this, and it will spawn a lot of zombies. Like a huge, you can see here how quickly, I know this is kind of the beginning of a round as well, but it was spawning a ridiculous amount. And what you need to do is to get your sword out, and there's a little bit of kind of disagreement about what you do here, about whether you just need to fight the zombies with it. I don't think that's what you need to do. I think you need to stand still with the sword, and then you're going to get struck by lightning, and that will energize the sword. Once you've been struck by lightning and it's energized the sword, then you can hit the device that you put lightning rods in, and it will charge up one of the lightning rods. Now for me, I couldn't see the effect on it at all. I couldn't see the effect on my sword. The first time I did this, I've got no idea why, but then I went over to that machine and just decided to hit it anyway, and there you go. I think I just maybe got struck by lightning seconds before I hit it. But then basically you're just waiting to get struck again. You can see there's bits of lightning around. It seems kind of random. I think it's whenever I stand still for long enough, then I was getting struck by lightning, but that's obviously a bit harder. So you can see here I plate up for a little bit, and then just then I got struck by lightning. So I think I was standing still long enough to get hit by the lightning, or maybe you need to look for those scorch marks on the ground and stand near them. It seemed really easy to me, and then other people had a really terrible time with it. So if you're struggling, maybe look for the scorch marks, stand on some of them, and try to stand still as best you can. So there you can see I just stood still for a little bit, got the third one, and then that's basically that bit complete. You just need to wait for it to do a little animation, and then you should be able to interact with it. You'll put the sword in. I used Ether Shroud here just because there was a lot of zombies about still. And then after a while, the sword will be charged up, and now you have Durandal, which is the electric sword, and you've done 3 out of 4 swords. I'd say you've actually done the 3 easiest swords, I'm afraid. The 4th one is really, really annoying to do. Now, for me, I'd actually already picked up a stamp in that round, so I already had a stamp for the next one, but you can put your electric sword back and now grab the last one once you've got a stamp, and this is the Raven sword, or the Void sword. Now, to do this one, you're going to use that thing you picked up from the lab, that thing that looked like a rock on a plinth, or a jawbone, or a skull. That's what you need for this one. So if you haven't already picked it up, make sure you go back into the alchemical lab, wander around on all those shelves onto the desk until you find some sort of skull or rock type thing, and then you're going to head downstairs into the tavern. So the tavern is just a big building just by spawn. You can head down here. You're going to be doing quite a lot of stuff in the tavern for the next few rounds. So this is the tavern. You should just be able to go in here, and then if you go downstairs, underneath the stairs there's like a basement, and then there's a big thing on the wall. You can interact with that, and it will spin around and light up and put your object on the plinth. Now, I wanted to clear out a few zombies here because it was absolutely crazy, but the next thing you're going to do is interact with that puzzle. So with a few more zombies killed, I went back down here and interacted with it. I don't think zombies would attack you while you're doing this, but this is really tricky. Basically, the gist is that you need to work out what the animal or the thing that's being represented in the middle of the circle is, and then you need to work out what star sign that represents. So in my case, it was actually a scorpion, and it took me ages to work out that this thing was meant to be a scorpion. I know you're going to be sitting there saying, it's obviously a scorpion, how could you not tell that? But I'd already been going for like 5 hours at this point. It was quite confusing, and I assure you, whatever you find will probably be confusing too. So, work out what it is that you're looking at. We've seen a scorpion so far, we've seen a sort of animal skull, we've seen something with 2 heads, the 2-headed thing was Gemini, by the way, and you just need to work out which horoscope that connects to. You can use this handy chart if you need a little bit of help with your star signs, but this kind of tells you what it's meant to be. Like I said, Gemini is the twin, so if you've got the 2-headed thing, that seems to be what it is. One that was particularly hard to see, that just looked like a rock basically, that was actually the fish apparently, Pisces. So once you've worked out what it is, you can use this chart where you just find it on a chart, look at which column it's in, that's going to give you the first symbol, and then which of the other 3 symbols is the one that you need for your particular star sign. Thanks to Shutterstock for that image, I guess. So I obviously had a scorpion, so it was Scorpio, so I was trying to run away from the zombie a little bit, but then when I interacted with it, I had to know that I was trying to make the Scorpio symbol, and you're doing it at the bottom where the arrow is. So I needed the upside down triangle, and then I needed an M kind of shape that had a little kick on it. Not this one. That one looks like the right one, but it's not. It's this one. This was for the scorpion. So the downward triangle, and then that little M, that unlocked it. And now this big purple pit will appear, as well as these purple orbs. Don't touch the orbs, they explode and hurt you, and then they disappear. What you need to do is try and lead those purple orbs into the pit. So just kind of stand on the other side of the pit, and they will follow you. As long as you stand on the other side of the pit, they will drop into it, and that will be kind of charging something up. Once you have, I think it's like 3 orbs into the pit will move. So you can see there, the pit itself turned into an orb, and then it went upstairs. I was a little bit confused about following this orb for some reason at first. I didn't really know that I was meant to be doing that. But anyway, you can just follow the orb, and you can see there's another pit, and then more orbs will start coming out from downstairs. So it'll take a little bit longer for them to get to you, which means if you've got lots of zombies, it'll be a little bit trickier. But obviously, you'll be able to manage it, I'm sure, and just drop more of those orbs inside that pit. After a while, and this does take quite a long time, annoyingly, because the orbs are frustratingly slow and you can't really do anything about them. At least there's some really nice music in this part. After you've got 3 orbs in that one, then the pit will move again, and it will move upstairs in the tavern. So it'll just go up the stairs, you can follow it. Again, remember, if you touch the orbs, they will explode, and that will hurt you. So now you've got to get them all the way up here, and they are much slower than the zombies are, which is kind of frustrating. And you've got the pool table in the way now as well. Don't forget as well, you can shoot the balls on the pool table if you want an extra 100 essence. But now you can just drop more of these orbs in. I think I just walked backwards into one of the orbs, because they are kind of still coming from the basement. But anyway, apparently I got enough. And now you can see that purple orb goes back downstairs. I got very confused again here, but it does go back downstairs into the tavern, kind of just where that machine was that you were at before. You can see there, I just saw all of the little purple explosion coming from it, the particle effects. That's what we're looking for. And then I went down here and couldn't see anything. Turns out you need to interact with the machine. So I did work out before I went upstairs. Oh yeah, just go and tap interact on that machine. I think I was still maybe talking to people, and they told me, oh yeah, you should go and do that. And this is basically how you upgrade the last sword. So this is going to give you the last upgraded sword. So just interact with it. It will kind of pop the sword out of a hole there, and it will go and dip into this. For a second I thought I was just losing it. It was just going to void. But it comes back out, and now you have the fancy void sword, Balmung, which if you use the special of this, it kind of rips tears in the fabric of reality, which is kind of cool. Now, just outside the tavern, there was this yellow symbol on the ground. This was for the horseshoe that we picked up earlier by going through the cannon and then going find Storm Cloud and getting it. So now you just do the same thing again. Soul box, you just need to kill a bunch of stuff near it. Obviously, this will be getting a little bit harder now. I was doing this quite quickly, like trying to do everything on the earliest round I possibly could, and it was already round 17, which is a little bit of a pain. But once you've got that done, exactly the same as all of the others, now you'll have a chest appear, and I think this is the lightning one, so you can't open it up using the void one, which I've got now. The void one is actually downstairs in the kind of room that's got lots of water in it under the keep. You can't open it up with this one. I just always seem to have the wrong sword out when I was doing these. Anyway, now I was on round 18. I've got all 4 upgraded swords. The next step was that I needed to open up some secret panels down in the bottom of the keep. And to do that, you have to do something tricky. And I hope you've got a pen and paper handy, or record yourself on your phone. So in the tavern, there's all of these little jugs. There's 6 of them dotted around. They're always in the same place, I think. At least they were in the 2 games that we've done this. So there's these 6 little jugs, and they each have a Roman numeral on them. What you need to do is interact with each one, and it will show you a symbol, and then you need to remember the order of those symbols. So you just need to remember, okay, whatever is on the one jug, that's the first symbol. Whatever, so this is the first one, I'm interacting with it, 3 circles. So I just said to myself, and realistically I said to chat so they could write it down, but 3 circles. This would maybe be a good idea to pause if you're solo, and then do this, or just get someone to hold a zombie if you're playing in teams, and then get one person to go and get all of these symbols and write down the order of them. Trying to remember what they look like, you could obviously draw them if you're writing stuff down with a pen and paper, or I just came up with names for them. So that one for me was 3 circles. There are quite a lot of these, to be honest. I'm not sure if the jugs always have the same numbers in the same positions every time. It seemed like that for us. So that next one was the male symbol. So I knew that I had, okay, the first one was 3 circles. The second one was the male symbol. Again, it's a good idea to sort of clear out the round a little bit because I was struggling a little bit with all of this. But so I had the first 2 there. The third one for me was actually in a really dark corner. Obviously, trying to do this while you're also being eaten alive by zombies is kind of a bit of a pain. Now, obviously, you can reveal them at any order you want. It doesn't really matter. But I found it quite difficult to remember them doing it that way. So I decided, oh, okay, I'm just going to do them in the order, wait until I find each one. And then I could just keep on saying to myself over and over again while I was doing this, like, 3 circles, male symbol. 3 circles, male symbol. This is 4 up here, so I didn't want this one next. The 3 one's actually spoilers. It's just behind a bar, kind of, in the corner, down here under the stairs. But yeah, so trying to remember all of these symbols, drill them into your head, super, super useful. So I went down to this corner. This is number 3. So then I could see that it was weirdly the number 14, which was really annoying, having an actual number. You can jump over the bar there, which is super useful. So I had 3 circles, then the male symbol, then the number 14. The next one was upstairs. I sort of vaguely remembered that after a little while. The fact that you've got to do 6 of these is a right pain, to be honest. It really is. But so I could go eventually remember where it was. Go back upstairs. So then the 4th one, I had 3 circles, male symbol, 14. Then that one I called fountain. So 3 circles, male symbol, 14, fountain. And then I needed number 5. Thankfully at this point there's only 2. That was circle. So 3 circles, male symbol, 14, fountain, circle. And then I called the last one sombrero. I don't know, it looked kind of like a sombrero to me. Now, with all of those hopefully written down somewhere, you now need to go underneath the keep again. So down in the bottom of the keep, in the Undercroft, you'll find this big room that's full of water. This is the wall that you smashed open with Melee Macchiato. Now, I annoyingly did this wrong the first time, and if you do it wrong, it makes you wait until you've entered a code of 6 before you can go again. Really, really annoying thing about this doing this whole code is that it changes where all the symbols are over and over again. And your code will be random. You will have a different set of symbols to what I did. But there you go. I'd entered 6, it was wrong, but then it just reset and lit them all up again. So now I knew, okay, the first one was 3 circles. That was fine. The second one was the male symbol. I switched my guns to single fire for this. This is another step you can't really do with the GS45s. Then it was 14. And it really does seem to reset every few seconds. Like maybe it's every 5 seconds or so. It completely resets, which is really annoying. So now I've done 3 circles, May symbol, 14. Then it was the fountain. I just kept, because I had a zombie here, I just kept running around and trying to do another one every time I did like a loop round. Then it was circle, which was a little bit easier to do there. Circle's one of the easier ones to see for whatever reason. Then I was looking for the sombrero next, I think it was. Have I like burnt this memory into my code? I waited until I thought it was about to settle, then I came back, there's sombrero. Then once you've done all 6 of the symbols, that bit will go red and this little orb will go over to the little bit next to it and it will reveal a book. Now this is what you're going to use the pages for that you grabbed earlier. So you can just go up and interact with that 4 times and you'll actually just whack all 4 pages down straight away like that. Now you've got another fairly tricky bit of remembering symbols. There's going to be 4 eye symbols there lit up red, and these correspond to 4 traps around the map. You might have noticed these traps, they glow bright red, they're around the map. They each have some variation of the same symbol of an eye on them. And you need to look at exactly what's on the ones that you're looking at there. And you're going to go top left, top right, bottom right. It's unbelievably difficult. I ended up just taking a screenshot of it. I suppose you could take a picture of your phone of it, so then you can go around and compare it. You need to make sure these symbols match up perfectly. So that first one, that top left one, is just the shape of an eye with a circle around it and then another bigger circle around it. So it was actually that one that I just looked at, but I spent ages walking around all of the traps. I think there's about 6 traps in total, maybe there's 7, trying to work out if it was one of the other ones first, because they all really do look very, very similar. So after much searching, this was the correct trap, the one in the Pack-a-Punch room for me. It'll be a different one for you. They're not the same every time. Once you found out which one it is, make sure you're on a round where there's a few zombies. Activate it. It does cost, or it cost me 1600 essence, which is quite a lot. And then just kill some zombies near it. On solo, it's not many zombies at all. It's like 5 or 6. Then the trap will disappear very, very quickly. That's when you know you've done it right. I think while you're doing it, you can actually see some like orbs fly towards it. And then if you've done it right, that glowing symbol will be kind of erased out of the book. It will be faded. It won't be glowing red anymore. And then you know you've done it right. You've done it in the right order. As I said, this is really difficult because all of these symbols look very, very samey. So now I just go back and check the book again, and I can see the top left one's done. So now I need the bottom left one, which is just an eye with kind of some eyelashes. It doesn't have anything else around it. Now, while I was searching for these, which is a real pain, I also decided to use this sewer because we're going to grab the last item that we need for those yellow pools. We might as well just grab it now. You can do this at any time. So do this, just go and interact with the sewer, the cave slide, and you will slide down here. Now, on the end of this, there will be a bird sitting on a rock. You need to shoot that. You can see it there just underneath the light. I shot that bird off the rock, and then the bird will fly away. You need to chase it and shoot it with some other gun. I'm apparently a terrible shot. Don't worry about it. But yeah, so I shot the bird, then its foot will drop down. That's what you need to pick up. So just wait for it to fall down. It takes a really annoyingly long time to fall down. But pick it up, and now you've got the Raven's Talon. And that's actually the next one of those yellow, the last one of those yellow pool items that you need. And this is for that room in the Undercroft with all the water on the floor. That's what you need. So that's where I headed next. This is the Undercroft stairway, so the big room with the water in the middle. Go and interact with the yellow pool, just as you have done before when you did it with the brooch and when you did it with the ankh and the horseshoe. Make sure you kill a bunch of zombies near it as they spawn. That will make their souls fly towards it, and you just have to do this for a little while until the Raven's Foot or whatever it is done, and then that chest will open. That's the one for the Void Sword, which I actually did have this time, so then I could go and open up that one. It's worth remembering where each of these are. Now at this point I'd actually done 2 of these traps. You just need to keep on going around and trying to find them. It is an absolute nightmare because they really, I can't express enough how much these look the same. You need to pay attention to how many circles around them are highlighted and how many of the points are highlighted and whether it's got eyelashes or not. You just have to find the ones, because all of them look the same on the ground, but it's just which bits are highlighted in red. That's what you're trying to sort of distinguish between them. If you do get the wrong one, it's not the end of the world. You'll be able to tell it's the wrong one because when you're shooting zombies near it after you've activated it, there won't be any kind of yellow stuff dropping from them, and it will just go on for a long while. So here you can see, even when I'm killing the vermin, you can see occasionally there's like yellow stuff dropping out of them. I think that's their souls, and you can see that ended super quickly, that trap. That's because that was the next right one that I needed. Here's a good example of one I did incorrectly. So I activated it and then there were some zombies, but can you see when I'm shooting them, there's none of this like yellow stuff dropping from them or anything like that. And even though I'm killing a bunch of zombies, it's not ending the trap. It's not finishing. And that's because this one was incorrect. It doesn't really punish you for this other than you've wasted the money for the trap. And at 1600 essence for each one, that's actually quite a lot of money. Eventually, I figured out that it was this one through here. So it was the one in the kind of living room area. So just activate it again. I had a load of zombies quite a long way away. You don't have to be a million miles away, but I just killed so many zombies with the GS45s that it completed instantly, and that meant that that one was done. So now you've not only completed the big blue wall of codes, that opened up the book, and you've now completed the book. So now, if you go back down to this corridor, you'll see just on the end here, I sort of glossed by it, there's all of these symbols on the wall. That's what you just unlocked by completing the book. And if you want to double check that the book's done, you can see here, all the symbols have cleared from it. That means it's done. And those symbols on the wall with the hole in the middle of it, that's kind of what your reward was. What a great reward, hey? The next step is to open up all of those chests with the various swords that you had. So as I said, each chest has a specific sword you need to open it. The one that's just outside the front of the keep, you need Caliburn, the fire sword for it, and you can swap the swords at the knights now whenever you want. So just smash that open, and then you need to go back and get the next sword. For me, the only one I hadn't done at this point was the lightning one, so I put Caliburn back, went and grabbed the lightning one, which is the stag one, and this is the one that's all the way down by spawn. Now, while you're doing this, you're getting quite close to not only the end of the Easter egg, really. You are pretty close to the end of the Easter egg, but you're also close to a part where there's going to be a lot of zombies fighting you, pretty much from now until the end of the Easter egg. So now's a really good time to make sure that you've got free plates, to make sure you've got all the perks that you want, try and make sure that your guns are as upgraded as they can be. You will be gaining a lot more essence and you will have a couple of moments where you can buy stuff, but you at least have to be happy that you're at a position kind of on the power curve where you can kill quite a lot of zombies in quite an enclosed space. The swords are genuinely pretty good, like I think they're not bad at all for pretty much everything, but you'll get a little bit overwhelmed if you're playing solo. So for me, like the GS45s were okay. I still wish that I'd upgraded the AS Val, that probably would have been a bit better. But anyway, now I've unlocked all of those chests. Weirdly, unlocking the chests around the map spawns versions of them in this room. So now there's a version of each one around here. Now what you need to do is a fairly weird little ritual. This is the bit that everybody got stuck on for hours when we were trying to do this for the first time. You need to pick up one of the swords and then use the little ritual thing that you got out of the chest, which is a tactical. It kind of makes you punch with the element that's related to the swords, and then inspect your sword in front of it. But there is a specific order to them. There's a specific order to doing this. So you'll see me doing it in a bit. When you're inspecting, by the way, the zombies won't stop attacking you, which is kind of frustrating. So I just run up to the statue, punch it, and then it should start glowing. But I'd done that in the wrong order. That wasn't the first one. This order changes every game. That was the order in the last game, this new game. So what you have to do is go down to this, which you've unlocked by doing a book, and you'll see I've got Raven, Lion, Dragon, and then the Stag. So you just need to remember that order, you know, Raven, Lion, Dragon, Stag. But your order will be different. You just have to remember what it is. Once you've got the order, then you need to go pick up the right sword. So I had the wrong one there. I need to go pick up the Raven one from this. I need to go pick up the little dark incarnation, whatever it is, incantation. So you punch it using that, the tactical ability, and then you inspect your weapon on the controller. You press left on the D-pad twice really quickly to do that. Or on keyboard, I think you press I to do it. And then you can just move away. You don't actually need to finish the weapon inspect, but that will complete that weapon. And you need to do this in the order you saw before. So I'd already done the Raven, now I need to do the Lion. So I can pick up the Lion incantation, the light incantation from that one. Then go up to the Lion statue, use the tactical on it, then inspect my weapon. You can do it as fast as that, then move away. The statue will move and start glowing. Then you can put that sword back, swap it for the next one. So now we're doing the sword one. You can pick up the dragon incantation. All of them are in this room now, since you've opened up the other chests, which make it a lot easier. Use a tactical on it, make it glow, inspect your weapon very quickly. Then the last one is the lightning one, so I had to go grab the lightning one. For some reason there's no picture of the deer here, I don't know why. But anyway, go grab that incantation, punch it using the tactical thing, then inspect your weapon, then that will light up all 4 statues. And now things are going to start getting a little bit crazier fight-wise. This will spawn a mystical orb, so the 4 statues will bring the mystical orb down. All you need to do now is pick it up. So just run up and interact with it. And now you're going to put it in these weird little things that stick out of the wall in 4 places around the map. The first one of these is actually for the light sword, so I should have had that equipped. But if you just go upstairs in the night room, just up here, then you'll see there's a little thing sticking out of the wall just here. Interact with it to put the mystical orb down. Interact with it again to start the elemental challenge. And this one needs the light sword or the light power, so you can grab it there. Now, this one is a little bit different from all of the others. For some reason, a load of green circles spawn. And it seemed like what I had to do was run through a load of these green circles. I don't really know if that's exactly what was happening. This took a lot longer than all of the others for some reason. I'm not sure if there's ways to speed it up. I know if you picked up the light incantation again and then used that on a load of zombies, that would probably give you some progress. And if you managed to charge up the light sword and then use the special for it to kill zombies with that, because it kind of makes an area of effect attack around you, that would probably speed it up too. But I was just running through these green orbs because that's what I thought we had to do. And it did seem to kind of work, but it was quite difficult. Like, I came very, very close to dying doing this. Eventually the music should change back to normal, then you can just go up to the orb and interact with it to pick it up, and then that one's done. So now the next one I was going to was the Undercroft, and I foolishly picked up the Fire Sword, but actually this is the one for Void. This is the one for the Raven. So you should have the Raven Sword out for the next one. You can tell which element is which just because they're always near the chests where you did the thing. So you can see there's the chest for the Raven one. That's where the little orb thing is, just to the left of that chest. That's where you put down the little mystical orb. When you want to do it, I decided to go and get the Raven Sword again just in case. I think you can do this without the swords, to be honest, because you can just use the incantations to get some power. But what you're really trying to do for all of the next three, definitely, is you're trying to kill zombies using the power of that sword. So what I was doing was picking up the sword out of this area, out of this central area, picking up an incantation from that area. The chests respawn pretty quickly, like it only takes a minute or two for them to respawn. Then go down to the place where you place the orb, whack the orb down, and then interact with it again just to make sure that it starts spawning everything. And then you just want to make sure that you are using the weapon, the powers of it to do it. Now I think just swinging the sword doesn't actually do that much to give you progress towards it. You need to proc it, but obviously you can swing the sword just to charge the big attack and then do it that way. For this one, I just used the incantation. That seemed to power this up pretty quickly. So once you're pretty happy with it, once you think they're all done, you can see there as zombies are dying from Void, that seems to be filling it up a little bit. If you've grabbed the incantations from the main room, obviously you can grab another couple of incantations from this room, which is super handy. So I just pick up another one there. I've got all the zombies grouped up. I can just hit tactical to hit all of them. And that was killing loads of zombies at a time, giving me loads of progress for all of the zombies that were dying from it. Once it's done, like I said, you can kind of hear the music change and then you can just run up and pick it up. Now the next one that we're going to do is the fire one, which is just outside the keep, but obviously by now I'd worked out how this works. So you can just go over to the night room and pick up the fire sword and the fire incantation ready to go do the next one. So I put the Raven one back, I go grab, didn't want the lightning one, I want the fire one from that one. So when you head out of the keep, it's just going to be on your left, just kind of where that chest was, you know, that you're interacting with it. That's where the incantation is if you want to pick that up to get some fire. And the thing that you put the orb is on the other side. Again, interact with it, press it again to start the elemental challenge. And now you just need to kill a load of things with fire. I'm not really sure for this if, say, Molotovs would work or napalm burst weapons. But I think the safest way and the most reliable way I've seen so far is just using the incantation. So just hitting those in as quickly as you can. Some of them, it charges it up like unbelievably quickly. Like this fire one, this fire incantation seems to kill zombies so fast. You can see that red circle popped out because this one was already done, which was great. So then the last one is the lightning one. So go grab your lightning sword and then run all the way back to spawn. This is where you did the horseshoe thing to charge it up. This is where the lightning box was. So you can run all the way back down there, and the little pedestal that you put the thing on is just to the left of this arch. You can see it there. That's where the incantation is. That's where the orb is. So I whack that down, and exactly the same thing. I'm just using the electric incantation to try and get some progress. This one doesn't complete as quickly as the fire one for me. I think the electric incantation is maybe a little bit weaker. So obviously, if it doesn't complete when you've done all the incantations, I was very sad that it didn't happen here. You can just kill a load of zombies to charge up the sword. It seems to just spawn infinite zombies, like so many spawn. And also, kind of interestingly, I was getting a load of zombies with orange eyes, which means they were giving me the full amount of essence for this, which is really good because you're about to go into the boss fight. So obviously having tons of essence, you can see there in the bottom left, I was on 33,000, which was enough to fully pack-a-punch something. Yeah, that was really, really important. So once you've killed enough zombies and you've kind of got the extra power up on your sword, then you can use the fully charge ability. If you try to use both triggers, when you don't have it done, it'll say not fully charged, but when it does work, it'll look like this. This, to be honest, still wasn't killing zombies all that quickly, but you saw the big red circles pop out there. That was enough to finish the orb. So now all of the orbs are done. You've upgraded all 4 orbs, or maybe just 1 orb, but you've upgraded it 4 times. At this point, I didn't really know what was going on. So now you've got that upgraded orb, you can go back into the oubliette room in the Undercroft. I went to go pack-a-punch something, and then you need to go up to like the stairs that go down to it and find that big painting on the wall that you unlocked. So I just ran through the night room, and if you go through towards kind of stamina, but stay to the right of it, it's just down this corridor down here. Now this is a good time. You're going to go into boss fight quite soon. Check that you've got your boss gobblegums if that's what you want to have equipped. But just down here, you can see there's a space for the orb. You whack the orb in, and then there's going to be some talking. Zombies can actually still attack you during this bit, so it's worth just, you know, defending yourself a little bit. It didn't spawn any extra zombies, but this door will start opening, and it takes a surprisingly long time. Once the door's opened, you can go in and interact with this thing on a table, and this will start this cutscene. The zombies stop attacking you for this, so you can listen to it in peace, and just grab the Guardian key off the table. You can actually go do the boss fight if you want to now, or you can stay and listen to this guy talking.
By your brother's corpses. Well done. A fitting end for wretches such as they. You must pass a final test if you wish to claim the obscure Atilium. Only then will you be worthy of my respect. Will you do it? Will you best the beast for your father's honor?
He cannot know what I am about to tell you. The way he speaks of Director Richtofen struck me as strange. Let's just call it a hunch. I accessed Project Genesis' encrypted message logs. There have been multiple exchanges between Croft and the Director. While I cannot access the contents of their communiques, it is clear that Croft is not being entirely honest. I would advise you proceed with caution.
Now you are finally at the part where you can start the boss fight if you want to. So, get everything ready. I was not prepared enough. Even though I had Perkaholic, even though I had 3 plates, I had some GS45s at legendary rarity, fully pack-a-punched, I don't think I was properly ready at this point. I got a Gobblegum, I managed to get a Killjoy from it. I don't think I ended up even using that in the boss fight. I just didn't really understand how difficult it would be to break through the armor using my GS45s. So I would strongly suggest you have something like an AS Val, fully upgraded, fully pack-a-punched, have everything ready to go for this. Then once you think that you're ready, you can head down to spawn and head down to the fountain in the middle, and this is where you're going to start the boss fight. This is the point of no return. Once you interact with this, it's the bit in the middle, then you won't be able to back out of it.
I hope you are prepared for what comes next. I doubt it will be pleasant.
So when the boss fight begins, you'll be put in this giant cavern with a load of magma around, and the boss is in the middle. You can't damage him until you get a health bar, so don't waste your time. The boss himself is actually kind of easy to avoid at first. You'll notice though you're not doing much damage to him. This was the problem with my GS45s, because he's got a load of armor over all of his weak points. You can break the armor, then that will start giving you all of the damage that you need. There's going to be a bunch of zombies spawn as well. It seems like there's 3 phases to this fight, and the zombies all spawn at the beginning, and then it doesn't seem like many zombies spawn after that, so it's worth clearing them out as quickly as you can and then just focusing on the boss. You can keep on moving around the arena. He will occasionally do these attacks that will spread lava on the floor. Obviously don't go in the lava, it hurts a lot. If he gets close to you, he will do like a big stomp that will knock you back and do an absolute ton of damage, so try to avoid that. And sometimes he'll do an attack where he just kind of swings his hammer down. He telegraphs that pretty well, so you can just kind of keep on sidestepping, and you should be able to avoid it. If you've got PhD Flopper with slider on, you can just kind of slide out of the way of it. But the idea is you just do as much damage to him as possible. Now for me, I think where this went wrong was that I was just not able to do damage quickly enough. My AS Val, you can see here, I had it on purple rarity. It was only Pack-a-Punch level 2, and at round 24, it just wasn't doing enough damage. And my GS45s were really good against zombies, but not so great at fighting the boss. It also meant I was constantly having to buy ammo, and because the zombies don't seem to respawn very much, ammo actually is quite expensive. So you can see there, he did his sort of stamp attack, very nearly killed me and knocked me into lava, which is really bad. If he spits fire at you, that does a ton of damage. It was an absolute nightmare in here doing this solo the first time. I think with the right setup, with the right gear, you'd be alright. But you can see here I've like broken his armor, and even with everything going right like that, still when I'm doing shots with the GS45s, I was barely doing any damage at all to him. You had to try and hit his weak points, which was quite difficult with them. The weak points, by the way, will break after a little while, so then you go back to just not doing very much damage at all. I just don't think the GS45s were worth it at all. So on this, which was my second attempt, I'd gone down once, lost all my perks, lost Jug. As soon as he stabbed, that was enough to kill me and completely end that run. Thankfully, I had already done the Easter egg, so I had footage of us doing better at the boss fight. So from now, I'll leave you with the gameplay of us completing the entire boss fight. If you want to watch it, go ahead. I'll leave the team comms in as well so you can tell what was going on. And if you found this guide useful or you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps out a bunch. A massive thanks to people who have thrown super thanks my way for some of these longer videos. I really do appreciate that. That's been amazing. But hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you for the next one. It's his left arm now.
Just for future reference, don't bother bringing chopper gunner in here.
Immune?
Yeah, yeah.
Immune?
Okay, he's immune, he's immune.
Yeah, so when he's not immune anymore, I'm going to use a mutant inject.
Well, have we got to do anything?
The answer is as simple as it is profound. Which is my greatest creation.
We're meant to do something with him while he's frozen?
Don't
Oh,
know.
no.
I'm going to spec my sword in front of him just in case.
Zombies? Okay, we've got a round of zombies.
Oh.
He's now frozen like a statue. Let's take out the zombies.
You buy ammo for the sword? Like, would they give you a special
No.
ability? No.
Now
Okay,
these
cool.
shit's like you never know when to quit. You play this.
This is going to be insane on solo.
I feel like their health will scale to the point though they're probably quite easy with the right weapon.
And there won't be as many zombies for sure.
I think Sigma could destroy this guy. Sigma free fire, just same strat as before. Also won't be round 40 when you do it on solo.
Yep. You'd also won't be around 40 when we do it next time.
Oh, we got
Are we supposed to
boys.
use incantations to make him unimmune?
No, I think it's just get through the
No,
zombie
it's
round.
just survive. We've got some elite zombies
There
in.
you go, he's back.
I'm mutant injecting.
Still
'cause
same
I-
weak point.
I have my stuff I can do. Right, there's a max ammo there.
Whoa, he's making a lot of fire on the ground. Careful.
45
Still got a crit spot on his shoulder.
Yeah, and his chest.
Focus on that. We've still got doppelgasts, so
I think,
Frank might be better using your mutant on zombies, really.
yeah, try and get rid of the zombies because I'm pretty sure if you get rid of them, they don't
the
respawn.
cannon. Oh wait, I think I just lost the thing instantly for lava.
Oh, I got taken out. And I
can
think
get
near
Geeky.
death is gone.
I got you.
I can get it on.
I kept all my perks.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird how it doesn't work sometimes.
Ooh, I think the void was doing some decent damage there.
What? The lava is so dangerous.
Yeah, right.
Okay, we've got more weak points.
Electric charge attack is actually quite good.
I think back's open now.
Anyone got any kill streaks? So you just got chopper them.
I've got
mutant.
immune injector.
One of you guys should definitely save it for the final phase, or as soon as it's 2 or 3. Oh god.
You
One
can
of you
just
could make
you and fire like great. Oh my god, there's so much lava. Watch out.
Yeah, I need Jake to pull out and I'll go.
Watch out, he's doing a slam as well.
He's reasonably easy to dodge. It's the lava that's harder to
Yeah,
dodge.
well, he like really telegraphs his attack on you. I've got an amalgam thing.
Need to buy some ammo.
But it was about to freeze into place again.
I am doing
He's jumping,
261 with my Pac-Man weapon. Not worth even.
It's hardly
one
worth
is
using a
good
pack
tackle
3
tap?
weapon as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm doing 987. It's not that
I'm
big
doing
of a difference.
3k damage because I've got the Kimbo pistols.
I do 6,000 if I use the single pistol, but it's just so slow firing. You can shoot his ankles now, it's quite a bit easier.
Means you can probably sword his ankles now too. Oh, I think I go down.
I think we need to get rid of. We need to get rid of
Yeah, we need to kill more zombies.
Yeah.
Well, if me and John
Go
keep
back to
shooting
sword
at
and work
him
on
and you two
zombies.
shoot the zombies.
No.
I got Jake. Oh god, literally laughed us while I was rolling.
Remember, you've got your incantations as well that you can use to take
Sword
out
does
zombies.
4,000 damage on a weak point.
Use your special ability because that was doing decent damage for me. I was hitting 1,300 pretty fast.
He's
Moon,
in
it's
one
Moon.
second, please, done.
Nice.
You have exceeded my expectations.
Make sure you play it after that.
Your stamina has been
Guys, you have
Still
2
got rain
mute
drop.
injects
Oh, there's
now,
lava
right?
spewing.
Yeah, I've still got one.
Yeah. Oh, it locks down areas of the map, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
You should basically just back-to-back mute and inject almost. Oh, are we like middle only now?
Yep.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
I've still got an idolize.
I've still got idolize as well.
I have a
Remember, you've got
free fire.
incantations galore to pick up around the arena to use to kill
Yeah,
these
they're good
zombies.
against the zombies.
They're worse than this swinging sword.
You rotted sausages, I'm coming through.
I can get Jakey.
I've got him.
Sorry. Resistance design is about to pass.
The only perk I have now is quick drive.
Triggers to look at the center. Only way to keep from blowing chunks.
Get you on my next lap. I got him.
Okay.
At the end of the world if I lose parts because I don't have a weapon anywhere. Really, beyond the sword. But I'm
mostly
killing loads
using the
with the
sword,
sword and
yeah.
it's just dropping loads of plates of these on the ground, which is nice.
He's back.
One of you should just mute and inject straight away.
Okay.
We've
gonna use
2,
one.
haven't we?
I'm using mutant now.
The Geeky's got one to go after you.
Yeah.
The cannons seem quite good, John.
45k damage.
Yeah, that's what I was
When it
doing.
hits
But
them.
it chunks a tiny bit, but it's not bad.
Yeah, I'm doing 45k damage each hit. It's pretty good.
I'm
I
going to
just hit
pop an
26k
idolize
with
because
a
we've got
C4.
I'm
two.
about to run out.
Right, idolize is going on.
Should pop your mute and inject Geeky. I've got Jake.
I just got downed.
Oh,
Jesus.
I used to wait
Okay,
for
He's
you're
self-reviving.
You're good.
Right, I'm going to use Moon Inject.
Yep.
Yep. Oh my god,
My
what is
God.
this?
I might pop raindrops. Keep running into the lava. Oh my god.
Watch out. You need to slide when he comes over for a slam, because that's a one.
I'm doing damage.
It's over.
He's dead, he's dead.
Got it.
GG.
Oh my god.
Round 41.
Holy guacamole.
Bunch of redacted
GG.
challenges I'm not playing.
That was insane.
Do we have to escape?
Oh, don't say that. There is a tunnel over there.
Oh, there's an amulet here you can pick up.
Ooh.
They're both being Dalek got one.
One?
Oh, thanks
that's
so
not
much.
the end? Okay, maybe it is.
Thank you, IT, for the 100-bit chair. Yeah, we are, ABC.
What do we do with the amulet?
Take it to the excavation site. But beware the sentinel artifact. It could consume you.
And Richtofen, where is he? We know he contacted you.
Please. Please don't kill him. He is my son.
He's your what?
I don't think he knew he was raising a monster. Until it was too late.
And the dig site he mentioned. It is not far.
Wow.
We continuing?
No,
See what the rewards are?
it'll be the same.